Hello everyone, Spook Strickland here with you. Can you see what I got on my workbench there? Looks like an old Marshall JCM 800, but no. It is the Master Lead series. Actually, Master Lead Combo. This thing was a solid state version of the JCM 800. Well, not really. I mean, look at the circuit board inside. Not so much, but that's kind of what people think, because it looks, outward appearances are kind of JCM 800-ish. It may very well be the same cabinet and everything, but pretty basic little preamp, power amp setup on the inside. I'd turn it around, but my workbench is just packed right now. I got some other stuff I was working on, but a buddy of mine, Robster, his friend, apparently found this thing in his garage. Been sitting there 10, 15, 20 years. God knows how long. Hasn't worked. Showing a lot of rust and corrosion on it. Really bad. Kind of smells. Had some rodent droppings inside it, but it wouldn't power on. And his friend said if we can get it working, that we can have it and use it. So it's like, hey, why not? You can see right here, it's missing all the knobs on there. There was a few of them on there, but they were stripped, so I took them off. Missing the one of the inputs there. Get to that in a second. And you get over here and see it in the back. And it's like, oh, what the hell is this? Well, that's 3 empty holes from something that, no idea what they, well, I'll tell you what I think they were doing. It's this big bucket of parts here. I mean, there's a few things that don't belong. Well, this jack, this pot, this switch, or this jack, oh, and then this little, whatever this thing was, they melted the markings on it, so I couldn't get a part number and everything, figure out exactly what it was. But it was on this really cheesy Radio Shack type board. And what I'm guessing what they did is these things originally, they had a high and low input. They didn't have any preamp outs or DI outs or anything, headphone out, till much later. And they weren't channel switchers. And what it looks like is somebody decided they wanted either a headphone or DI out and channel switching capabilities. So what they did is they kind of tapped into the inputs and made a real funky deal so they could switch between like the high and low input remotely to have kind of a fake channel switcher thing going on. Now, I mean, that's kind of a good idea, I thought, might try that myself, but the way they went about it was really bad. They had just huge long runs of wires, like 2 and 3 times longer than they needed to be, and their soldering work was really bad. They used the same color blue wiring for virtually everything, so it was a nightmare to figure out what went to where. And on first inspection, I did get it to fire up. The fuse was blown. Put that in there, got it to power up. Played kind of iffy out of the low gain input. As soon as I plugged it into the high gain input, it started squealing really bad, which I'm thinking their modification, because you're supposed to have grounding jacks, so you don't have, it's kind of like an antenna. If your jack stays open, you got this other input being fed, and it can cause squealing and everything. Well, they didn't have that worked out right, and so only one jack worked. The other one squealed really bad. So I thought, I'll just tear all this stuff out of here and put it back to as stock as I can. And just used one input because they'd trashed the original Marshall input right here. These were all screwed up. So I just put another jack in there, got it going, and Well, I'll fire it up here a little bit and give you a sound sample. My battery's dying, so we'll see how much you get here. Put the camera down there. Yeah, it's pretty crunchy. Very grungy. This is your preamp beam here, which is really needs a new pot. It's pretty. Everything's pretty crusty and scratchy. You can get some, some clean tones. It'll get pretty loud. Speaker's voice calls rubbing it. You can hear it there. So I'm gonna have to fix that, or might get lucky and find out it's just something else rattling, but I'm pretty sure it's coming from the speaker. But not tuned up here, so it sounds good, but it's punk rock, and that's what this amp really is now. Just a punk rock amp. Just play it till it croaks, and then throw it in the rubbish bin. Because I forgot to tell you, basically everything that could go wrong with this thing, was wrong. The power transistors had been replaced, a lot of the pots had been replaced, somebody had burned up traces on the board, and it's in really bad shape, but it's pretty cool to bring it back to life. It's better than just not doing anything with it, and maybe we'll fall in love with this thing. Maybe it'll have a magical sweet tone that we won't want to live without, and throw a few bucks into it and get it going again. But anyway, this is the Marshall 5010 model, basically like the transistorized JCM 800. And I don't know, you might see another video on this one if I like it after a while. This is Spook Strickland. I will talk to you later.